The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Aging Horizons. We have a great program today. We are talking to our guest about money follows the person. You will learn everything you want to know about money follows the person. So stay tuned and we will be right back.
Can you say ombudsman?
Ombudsman. Ombudsman?
Uma Doodlesman? Fortunately, you don't have to say it right to get the help of a long-term care ombudsman. If you or a loved one reside in assisted living or long-term care, an ombudsman can help resolve any issue. And these services are completely free and confidential. Now, why don't you try that again?
Ombudsman.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
You've probably seen some big-name celebrities on your TV lately talking about all the Medicare benefits you're missing out on. But the insurance companies who are paying for these ads may be pushing benefits not available in Montana. Fortunately, help is available from a friendly state health insurance assistance program counselor who can help you sort it all out. It's free, and we screen everyone for eligibility regardless of your zip code. It's Montanans helping Montanans. Call today.
A message from FireSafe Montana. Being a part of a community means working towards the safety of all. As a landowner in the wildland-urban interface, this means doing your part to protect your community from a devastating wildfire. Have you done your part? Fuel mitigation projects, ignition-resistant construction techniques, defensible space, safe evacuation routes. FireSafe Montana and your local fire authority can help. This message brought to you by FireSafe Montana and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
We're back and we're talking about money follows the person. This is Aging Horizons and a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. Today as our guest we have April Staudinger, who is Money Follows the Person Project Director. April, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Wilmot.
So let's get right into it because I know my audience want to hear what is this Money Follows the Person? So what is it?
Money Follows the Person is a demonstration project through the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We assist Medicaid recipients move out of institutional settings and back into the community. Okay. In the state of Montana, Money Follows the Person has been here since about 2014. Federally, it's been a program since about 2007. So since 2007, nationally, Money Follows the Person states have helped over 109,000 people move from institutional settings back into their communities. Okay. In Montana, we're at close to about 300 people since 2014.
Okay, not bad at all. That's good. So I want to be a part of it. So who's eligible? Who's not eligible?
So Medicaid recipients, so a person has to be eligible for Medicaid. They have had to have resided in an institutional setting, which could be a hospital. Most of the time what we're seeing currently are nursing homes. Okay. When the state hospital is a Medicaid provider, part of that population could be eligible for Money Follows the Person. But the person also has to have lived in an institutional setting for at least 60 consecutive days, and one of those days has to have been paid for by Medicaid.
So, if it's not paid for, then?
They're not eligible.
Oh,
There's some other criteria for eligibility for Money Follows the Person. The person has to be willing to enroll in a waiver program, and they also have to be eligible for one of our waiver programs in the state of Montana. They also have to be willing to move into a qualified setting, and what we call an MFP qualified setting, which is a home owned by them or a loved one, family member, an apartment, or an assisted living facility. And then there's some stipulations for that assisted living facility that the facility has to meet in order for that person to be eligible. We can move them into group homes, except for the group home has to be have 4 or less non-related individuals living in the group home.
Okay.
Typically, however, across the state of Montana, most group homes have anywhere over 6 people, which then does not qualify for the Money Follows the Person funding.
So what are some of those waivers you're talking about? You know, because if I have to sign a waiver, I want to know what I'm waiving away.
Well, it's not a waiver like that, Wilmot.
Okay.
Waiver Medicaid is kind of what I term like standard Medicaid on steroids. Okay. So waiver packages offer more than a standard Medicaid service package. So we have 3 in the state of Montana that are our eligibility waiver programs for Money Follows the Person. It's Big Sky Waiver, and they serve the elderly and the disabled. There's the SDMI waiver, which is Severe Disabling Mental Illness waiver, and they serve populations for people with mental illness. There's a whole wide variety of people that they serve. And then there's our Developmental Disabilities Waiver Program that serves people with developmental disabilities.
Okay, so this program has to have some benefits. I don't think you've spoken about those benefits. So tell us about some of the benefits that if I were to enroll in, I will enjoy.
Well, one of the biggest advantages to using Money Follows the Person to transition into the community, because Money Follows the Person is really just a funding source, but it's a flexible funding source because of the demonstration project. So one of the biggest pluses for the Big Sky waiver is that we can bypass their wait list.
Okay.
A lot of people will understand what a wait list is. Services can't always be provided to everybody, but if somebody's being enrolled in that waiver, in the Big Sky waiver through Money Follows the Person, we get to bypass that wait list. Money Follows the Person then provides the funding for that person for an entire year, which saves the state money.
Okay.
Money Follows the Person also is a money-saving program because, one, you're not paying for services in an institutional setting, and 2, it's less expensive to provide those services in the community. We also have a higher federal match, which means the feds pay for more than the state does for our program for that 1 year of waiver services.
So, is that it?
No.
Get those 2 benefits?
No, there's much more.
Give us
There's
another
many more
benefit. Give us another benefit. Give my audience another benefit.
Another big benefit to Money Follows the Person is that we provide regional transition coordination.
Okay.
So that is a person that we work with that is kind of navigates with the person that's moving, with the waiver team, with the facility, whatever type of facility, if it's a hospital or a nursing home, and us. So the transition coordinator is that one pivotal position.
Great. Yes, we've been talking to April Stottinger. She's the project director for Money Follows the Person. And she is here to provide us with some really valuable information. So stay tuned and we will be right back.
Hey caregivers, did you know that respite time is your time? How will you spend it? Respite is really perfect for things I like to do, but my son isn't interested in.
Vicki Henry, Manhattan.
Gardening isn't one of his favorite things, and he knows and likes his caregivers a lot, so it's a win-win. Or even something as simple as a bike ride becomes possible when I know that someone I trust is with him.
Montana Lifespan Respite. Respite for caregivers. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. It's okay to get it.
It's good for both of us.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
I've been shooting since I was young. It's something I've always enjoyed. I wasn't feeling like myself, but my friend noticed. He asked if he could hold onto my guns temporarily. At first, I was a little shocked, but then I agreed. I think he saved my life that day.
Medicare loses $60 million in Montana each year, $60 billion nationally. Medicare processes 4.5 million claims a day. They don't know who your doctor is, but you do. Mistakes can happen. Read your Medicare statements and call Montana Senior Medicare Patrol if you see anything unexpected. 1-800-551-3191. This project is supported by a grant by the Administration for Community Living.
We're back, and we're discussing Money Follows the Person, and we have that expert, April Stodner, here with us. April, what is Regional Transition Coordinator?
So, as I had talked about a little bit earlier, this is a position that is pretty central to the transition process. The people that we have do the coordination work, they go out and they meet with the individual. So we send the referral to them. We get our referrals from a wide variety of sources. Some of them come from Mountain Pacific, which is the organization that does our level of care determinations. We get, you could say, hey, I know that my cousin that lives in the nursing home would like to move out. That's a referral. That cousin that lives in the nursing home can refer themselves. So we get referrals from a wide variety of places. We then send that referral 2 different directions. We send it to the waiver team that person is potentially eligible for. We also send it to our transition coordinator in that geographical area.
Okay.
So then they take the ball from there. They go out and they meet with the individual, have a conversation, talk to them about Money Follows the Person. We have fact sheets and brochures that they give them and provide that educational piece.
Oh, good.
They also will, at that initial meeting, they get some of the paperwork signed if the person chooses to continue to work with Money Follows the Person funding.
So how long is this process? How long is this process from the time I say I want to be a part of it to when I'm accepted into the program?
That is a really great question because it varies. We can start transition work up to 6 months before the person actually moves into the community. Unfortunately, we don't always have that luxury of time. In a perfect world, we would have all that time because you can structure just a perfect move. You can make sure you have everything in place when that person moves into the community, that they're 110% ready for that transition, and it's good to go. Good. A lot of times we have a week. Hey, this person's moving out, needs to move out of the hospital. Can you guys help us get this person back into their home? Yeah, we can do that. Sometimes it's a week, and that's a pretty whirlwind.
Yeah.
It's it's an all hands on deck type situation, but so there's a variety of it. Yeah.
Okay. So what are other services? Because I know there got to be more services for Money Follows the Person, supplemental services, whatever. What are some of them?
Yeah, so we have a couple of different services. We have demonstration services, which are services that Medicaid typically covers.
Okay.
But because this person is in a transition phase, nursing home Medicaid won't cover it. They're not enrolled in waiver Medicaid. So they need to have these transition services purchased and whatnot in that transition phase.
Okay.
So those are demonstration services. Supplemental services are very new to MFP. In fact, we just implemented them at the first part of May. They are services that are super spectacular. They are not covered by Medicaid, and they are services that we pay for that will really secure a person's transition into the community. One of those services, there's a couple that are kind of my top two favorites. The first one is a pantry stock. So when a person lives in a nursing home, let's say, they don't have much money. They get $50 per month for their personal needs. How do you stock your pantry when you don't have the money to buy groceries?
Right.
And it can take up to 30 days for a SNAP application to be approved if they need that assistance. So we can step in and we can provide up to $400 of a pantry stock.
Okay.
For that person with these new supplemental services. We also have a clothing grant for the same time frame, because sometimes people don't have clothing to get them even through a season once they move into the community. So it's really transition type building services that Medicaid absolutely doesn't cover. The only caveat to these services is that they have to be purchased and received prior to their move-in date. So if we did the pantry stock, we would go out, we would take them out shopping, and then have all of the stuff moved in. Sometimes you can do that prior to that move-in date.
The clothing service or allowance and the pantry, they were happy when they are transitioning from the nursing home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
So when they're about to transition from the nursing home to the community, to their homes, and then these things kick in, that is an awesome program there. I'm happy for that. So are there any other services? Because I'm sure my people are listening and wanting to know. That's a valuable service. There got to be more. So give them more, or give them another one.
So aside from, those are our three main services that we provide.
The coordinator.
The demonstration services are really key to helping people to not be reinstitutionalized.
Okay.
Because once they've moved into the community, for instance, we recently had an individual that needed a specialized piece of equipment that the waiver Medicaid didn't cover, and her physical therapist wrote a letter and said, if she gets this, if she can use this, then it'll decrease her chances of having to be reinstitutionalized.
Oh, great.
And we bought
Thank
it
you.
for her.
Thank you, April. We're talking to April Staudinger of the Money Follows the Person. She's the project director from the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
Every 65 seconds, someone is affected with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Many become isolated at a time when help is most needed. If you or someone you love is affected, help is available, both for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Memory loss can feel frightening, but you are not alone. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
You mean I can get help paying my prescription drug premiums?
Let me get this straight. I could be eligible for help with my family's prescription premiums even though I own my own home?
And our assets won't be counted.
If you're a Montana resident enrolled in the Medicare prescription drug program, you could be eligible for help paying your premiums. Call or visit the Big Sky RX website today to find out, even if you think you're over income.
What do you know about that? I'm eligible.
When I found out it was diabetes, my first thought was, Barb, you need help. You have to take control of this. There is help. My doctor gave me a phone number. I called and signed up with a diabetes educator. There is help. I have to put blinders on when I walk past the bakery counter. I can feel my blood sugar go up. You succeed a little at a time. If you have diabetes, help is available. You do not have to do it alone.
Ask your doctor about diabetes education or visit montana211.org.
We're back, and we've been talking to April Staudinger of Money Follows the Person. She's the project director. April, it's been, I don't know how to say this, but I think you are a wealth of information for my audience. So let's start with, what are some of your accomplishments the past year? I know you've accomplished a lot. What are some of those accomplishments with Money Follows the Person?
Great question. It's been a very busy, well, let's just say a year and a half.
Okay.
So in 2018, it looked like the demonstration project wasn't going to be carried forward through Congress. And so the original MFP team, kind of all disbanded and went to work at other locations. Or around that time, I'm not exactly sure what the years were. So there was one person that was doing all of these transitions through those years, which was really tough because during the COVID years, when all of those facilities closed, they really relied on Money Follows the Person to help transition people into the communities. Yeah. So in 2023, in September of 2023, they decided we're going to reboot this program and we're going to give it all we've got. And so they hired us, our current team. Okay. There's myself. We have a data analyst, we have a housing specialist, and a grant specialist. So for the last year and a half, we've been rebooting this program. The part when I talked about the regional transition coordinators earlier, that's the position isn't new, but how we're utilizing people throughout organizations and agencies across the state has changed. We are now opening that to all home and community-based service providers, and we have approximately, currently we have 19 new transition coordinators trained.
Oh,
yes.
That is neat.
It's excellent. We've also, from our sub-grant that we were awarded in 2022, we've contracted for different projects that are increasing home and community-based services. So earlier in the month, we were here and we talked about the long-term service and support summits. Money Follows the Person funded that, so that we can increase capacity.
Footprint, yeah. Let people know.
Exactly,
yeah.
Exactly. Another project that we have is we are working with a company called PulseLight to implement their unreported incident management system, which is huge for our state.
Okay.
They have a component to that program that will alert Money Follows the Person staff if a person is admitted to the hospital. So if we have a person who's enrolled in Money Follows the Person and they're admitted to the hospital, then we can reach out to them and say, what do you need to make sure that you can remain in the community and not have to go back into a nursing home?
Right. So have you had any case where the person was unable to go back to their community?
Yeah, we have. Sometimes it depends on a person's level of care needs. Sometimes they can't find the care. There's a direct care worker shortage. There's you name it. There's issues, there are barriers. It's really funny because when I very first started this job, I thought, well, this is going to be great. We're going to move people home, and this is going to be really easy, and it's absolutely not. So there have been incidences where we haven't been able to move, but there was one individual that we had that she was on our referral list for 1.5 years, and we've just moved her back into the community.
Oh, wow.
So we don't give up.
That's a success story right there.
Yeah.
So let's hear some of your future plans for Money Follows the Person.
Going forward, we are rewriting our operation protocol for CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. We are going to work on more community outreach. We are targeting nursing homes. We're going to start doing presentations for nursing homes because there are a lot of facilities that don't know that we exist. And there are a lot of people that are living in nursing homes that don't realize they might not have to live in that nursing home. They can maybe move back into their community. So it's getting that education out there for facilities. You bet, yeah. So that's what we're really kind of focusing the last part of this year for our outreach program is, those types of populations. That drive, we think, is going to increase our referrals, which is then going to increase our ability to utilize all of our transition coordinators across the state who also, they get paid for their work. So it's a win-win situation for everyone.
That's true. So, wow. So information is the key then.
Yes, it is.
Because if we can inform those that are in the nursing homes and those that are in other living situations, that there's an opportunity for you to go back to your community, and we would be footing part of that bill. You don't have to be here. If you want to go back to your home, you're allowed to go back.
Yeah.
Wow, that is neat, because I'm sure there are lots of people that will take you up on that offer and because people want to be in environments they're used to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right, April. Well, we appreciate you coming and giving all this information here. But before we leave, any final words?
I don't think so. We covered a lot of ground today, Wilmot.
Yes, we did. Okay. Well, I want to thank you, April.
Thank you.
You brought some information to our audience that I'm sure they're very thankful for. I know I learned a lot today from you.
Thank you.
So this has been a program brought to you by the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. This is Aging Horizons, and I'm your host, Wilmot Collins. Take care and see you soon.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.